Hey guys, welcome back to Mom of Three and Me, where I teach you guys how to build a business while you're raising your babies. I am so excited because I am kicking off a 3-part series about websites. Now, if you guys know, I have a business called Brands by Bree. Again, we help women build their businesses while they're raising their babies. And one of the products and services that I provide through Brands by Bree is website development. But I have seen, especially over the past few months, a lot of people are just kind of in the do-it-yourself, like, let me figure this out on my own stage. And so because of that, I really wanted to create some videos that were for that audience. So if you are someone who's like, girl, I would love to work with you, but the funds aren't there, then you're gonna love these videos that I'm gonna be doing over the next few weeks, because I'm literally going to lay out how it is that you should be building your website, the tools that you're gonna need. I'm gonna lay out things like if you have your own website already and you just wanna make sure that it's running properly, it's gonna be key. So let's get into these teachable pieces, okay? You ready? Okay, you all. So the first thing I wanted to do to kick off this series was really talk about why you need a website. I know with social media growing, with influencers out here making 6 figures, 7 figures, and just having an Instagram page, it's kind of like, well, what's the point, Bree? But I wanted to be able to provide insight onto why it's important before we get into the other parts of this series. And so the first thing when it comes to having a website, the reason why it's so important is that it helps you establish credibility. It helps you establish credibility. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know when I go online, if I'm shopping for something, even if it's on Amazon, I'm clicking backlinks. I'm trying to find out more about the company. When I'm here on YouTube and I'm looking at a particular person who might have a product or service, or, you know, they're reviewing products and services from someone else, I'm gonna go click back to that person's website. And so I think it's so important for you to be able to have that space for yourself to establish credibility, so that if people wanna know more information about you, they don't have to solely rely on some of your TikTok videos or your Instagram feed. So that's the number one reason why I think it's so important to have a website, is so that you can establish credibility. So the second reason why you need a website is that not only does it help you establish credibility, but it gives your potential clients a place to land. Now, some of y'all might be like, well, that's what my Instagram's for, that's what my TikTok is for, but I want you to think bigger than even your current level of influence. Let's say that you are somebody who has the ultimate goal of getting brand partnerships. How much more legit would it be, kind of tying into that establishing credibility, how much better would it be to be able to send people your media kit, and then it has information on your website about, you know, your prices, it has previous brands that you've partnered with, over just saying, well, here's my Instagram page, and you can scroll through and see the brands that I've partnered with, right? Like it doesn't feel as good to be able to just say, hey, here's my Instagram, over being able to say, this is my website. And if you go to the featured page, you'll be able to see previous brands that I've worked with. You'll be able to see my rate sheet, even though I've also attached it to this email. And I also have my media kit that shows just different products and services that I have been able to highlight for other clients, right? So it gives you that credibility, but it also gives your clients a place to land. Even if you're not looking for brand partnerships, if you're trying to sell an ebook or a physical book or a product like lotion or, you know, hand sanitizer or something like that, it's a lot easier to be able to send people to your website than it is to have some kind of third-party platform that handles your payments. And so that is another reason why it's important to have a website. Now, the third thing is that it gives people a place to pay you, right? It gives people a place to pay you. And when you're having a smaller business, I know that in the beginning, it can feel really easy to just say, oh, I can send them a request for money on PayPal, or I'll send them my Cash App, or I'll send them my Venmo. But I am really big on thinking long term. I'm big on, we're establishing brands and businesses. We're not just doing side hustles. We're not doing hobbies. We're really trying to establish a lifelong legacy. And so if you're thinking about your business or your brand with having that type of potential, having a website is key, because eventually sending people invoices all the time, or trying to send them your Venmo or your Cash App, or texting them to say, hey, just wanted to make sure that your payment is being sent, is annoying. And a lot of times in those instances, you've already put the effort in. So say, for example, you are a baker and you bake cookies for people, right? So people say, hey, let me get 2 dozen cookies from you, Bree. Can I buy 2 dozen cookies? And a lot of times I'll be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Just, Venmo me the money and we'll get started. Well, let's say the event is in a couple of days. And they're like, okay, well, I get paid on Friday. And so I'll pay you on Friday. But if the event is on Friday, do y'all see this silly little boy? If the event is on Friday, you're like, well, I need to have the money before Friday in order to make the cookies by Friday. And so if you have a website, you can tell people, hey, I don't start on this until payment is received. And instead of you texting them back and forth, you can have a payment link on your website where they can purchase whatever it is that they want. Even in the event of cookies, you can have the specific cookie flavors on your website already broken out, or you can have an opportunity for them to put it in the notes, whatever the case may be. But it gives them a solid place to pay you, so that you're not running around chasing people for money, because it's just annoying. And again, if you're thinking long term, you don't want to be the CEO of your business and still texting people like, yeah, so when do you think that invoice will be paid? Honey, who's trying to do all that? Nobody. So we are talking about the reasons why you need a website. The first thing we said is that it establishes credibility. The second thing we said is that it gives your clients or your potential clients a place to land. The third thing is that we said it gives people a place to pay you, which is obviously super important. And then lastly, it gives you some ownership. Now, I know when Instagram went down last year for like 6 hours, everybody was talking about it. But it did really make me reflect and think, man, if this was where all of my information for my business is hosted, right? All of my portfolio, all of the client highlights, all of my testimonials, if all of that was only on Instagram, and yes, it was down for 6 hours and came back up, but let's say that it never came back again, some people would be in a really bad position, right? Like if you put all of your effort for your business, if all of your marketing efforts are only tied to social media, if you don't have an email list, if you don't have, another platform, even like a YouTube channel, which is kind of like social media but has a little bit more of that autonomy. If you are only looking at Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook to grow your company, then that can be a problem pretty quickly. And so having a website gives you a place for ownership, because you own your site, you own your email list, right? People get the opportunity to opt into it. People get the opportunity to opt into your email list, and you don't have to worry about Instagram servers going down and then all of a sudden, dang, now I'm out of business, right? So those are some of the key reasons why it's important for you to be able to have a website, because it's going to give you that credibility. It's going to give your clients a place to land. It's going to give people a place to pay you, and then it's going to give you a sense of ownership. How much easier and better is it for you to be able to say, hey, you can find out more information about me by going to BreeLightfootSmith.com than just saying, hey, here's my Instagram handle. And I understand, like, I love connecting with people on social media. That's fantastic. And it does give you that, day-to-day connectivity, because a website is kind of static in most instances, right? But being able to have a website just increases that professionalism. And again, if you're thinking long-term and you're thinking legacy, then I want you guys to have all of the elements that you need in order to function like a business and not just like a hobby. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first video. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the 3 elements that you need. If you've decided, okay, girl, you convinced me, I'm going to build my own website. We're going to talk about the 3 elements that you need to get started. And so that's what we'll talk about next week. If there's other questions that you have based on this video, if you're like, okay, girl, tell me a little bit more about credibility and you want me to dive a little deeper into anything, definitely leave me a comment below and I'll talk about that in the next training. All right. Bye, guys. Say bye, Joshi.